A massive welcome to ESC Fan TV. Those were my two co-presenters for the night. My name is Ronnie Hazelhurst, and I conducted many times and oft for the United Kingdom. Let's go 1977, Retrovision Song Contest. Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening to the chat room. Wow, we've got a whole load of people in. Sorry we didn't get to speak to you beforehand, but we were having a few technical issues. You know, it is the 1977 Eurovision Song Contest, and technical issues were all it was about. Please say a massive hello to my team for tonight, whose names have disappeared, but we've got Tom.
Good evening, Andy. Looking forward to a fantastic show.
All the way from Australia, and we always say thank you for getting up so early. Gemma.
Good evening, good morning.
And the lovely singer from Norway, who got into an awful lot of trouble. Welcome, Joe.
Hello, this is Anita from Norway.
And moving on, man in row B. And Donna, hello.
Hello, I'm Penny this evening from Germany.
Penny, and you've got a fantastic outfit. Well done. Steve, you've come as a Schmetterling, I believe.
I've come as a Schmetterling, the capitalist radio boss who made all that money from the artists. We kind of got it wrong with the Austrian song, though, but never mind.
Never mind. And Martin, first time on Retrovision. You're very, very welcome. And you come as a Beatle.
I have, as a Forbes or a Forbes. I've come as the trumpet man, and just read, I'm either Peter, Roger, Klaus, Peter, Anders, or Chino. I have no idea which one it is.
Well, we'll make a guess. And welcome to Sean now. That is one hell of an outfit. Well done. Welcome to the show.
I've not come as anyone in particular. I'm just here to sell ice creams, so...
Well, we'll be buying some.
Don't make me laugh because this is falling off already. So,
right, and we've got to get on with it because it's a 1977 Retrovision Song Contest. We've been going nearly 5 minutes. Time for the very first song, and we're going to be looking at Ireland and Monaco. Those are the days when a good start to the competition could be got from a random order of songs. Gemma, what did you think of the Irish song?
Well, just a little bit of a idea for people. I had not watched this contest until yesterday, so I watched it in full. This song was the opening one. First, straight up, no messing around. And my God, I was impressed. I love this song, which is surprising for some people, but I do. And I was like, wow, 1977? What? Well done. Well done. I've even come dressed as one of them because I was so inspired. But these are, you know, they entered before, apparently. They entered in 1975, and they came ninth, but they came better this year. So, you know, well done, Ireland. Well done.
I think that was the addition of the girls that pushed them up 2 places. Joe, what did you think of the opening number?
Oh, I did love it. They deserved their 3rd place, I think, personally. Yeah, I mean, having the girls there was it Alma was one of the girls, and there's another girl. Yeah, I mean, they did do a lot better, but you got to understand as well that the Swarbriggs were famous. They did have a number 1. I think it was in Ireland or was it in the UK? I can't remember. It was actually called Joanne, believe it or not.
Oh, was it?
I like them. Yes, indeed. So the only song I actually know, there's a Joanna somewhere going around, but the only song I know that was actually called Joanne was by the Swarbriggs in 1976. So there you go. But yeah, they did deserve to do really well, and I'm glad they did beat their 75 place.
And it was a cracking start to the show, followed by a big disco number. Sean, what did you reckon to the Monaco song, Monegasque entry?
Monaco. Yeah, lovely little song. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't like what she was wearing. I think she looked like one of those toilet roll holder cover things. You know, those frilly toilet roll cover. Okay.
Oh, yes.
But yeah.
She was wearing the...
What's the title of the song? She was, yeah. Was it Un Petit Français? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Un Petit Français.
Yeah. Français.
She was a little French girl from Provence.
Little French girl from Provence, yeah. She's thinking about being this little average French girl, and she's not done much with her life, and she's never, she's not on the cover of magazines. She doesn't have a Rolls Royce. She's, she doesn't consider herself an idol. She's in the same league as like Marilyn, which is obviously a reference to Marilyn Monroe. But she's questioning if she was right to leave a career. To leave a little provincial town for a career of music in Paris. So it's a nice little song.
And was she right to do that?
Yeah, of course she was. Yeah, of course she was.
We're going to move swiftly on now. And another pink creation, the Netherlands. They'd done very, very well up to 1977 by singing in English. And then they had to go back to singing in their native language of Dutch. So we've really cranked up the campometer. Talking of which, over to Mickey.
Hello, darlings. I have to say, wasn't she brilliant? Heddy was marvellous. The shame of it was, pre-contest favourite, came in 12th. It was a bit disappointing for the Netherlands. But wasn't this great fun? It was fabulous. Absolutely amazing. Loved it from start to finish. I thought absolutely brilliant, and it deserved better. And unfortunately, we know that this is a rather long line of songs that perhaps don't quite fulfill expectations for the Netherlands for years to come.
And the following song was also one of the favourites. It was Austria's Schmetterlinge. And Steve's going to tell us about that. Oh, good grief. Steve, you have come. You come as the second half of the song.
Apparently, this was about a capitalist recording boss who made lots and lots of money from recording artists. And apparently that's the genre of the song. So I've actually come as the capitalist record boss. And I couldn't find a master of the pig, to be honest. But Poundland reigned supreme, and I managed to get a master. I think you were wrong. A couple of people that were in the Milestones in 1972, which had a great kind of song, a song ahead of its time, Falter in Wind, Moth in the Wind. But this one probably, It's probably lasted fairly well. It's a good entry to show on a compilation show, but I think at the time we were all a bit disappointed with the standard of this one. I'm not sure it was a favourite though, but I can't quite remember.
Okay, well, let's move on to.
he said all that. He said all that. We had his lips.
There's lots of love for Steve. Come on, in the chat room, Andy.
They need to watch the programme.
They're like the Hatari of their day.
Well, yes, you could say that, but it didn't work out quite so well. We are moving on because we've got to get this wrapped up in under an hour. And let's talk about the postcards. What on earth happened? It had something to do with a Norwegian entrant. Joe?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think there was just like, there was just no postcards, was there? It was like people. It was terrible.
Didn't they film They filmed the postcards or then axed them, didn't they, at the last minute?
Yeah, they axed them because the young lady singing for Norway was filmed with a drink in her hand, and it was illegal to drink under the age of 21. So the whole lot was scrapped at the last minute. Hence the audience.
Yeah. But what didn't happen in the because wasn't they in a bar or something for the
That's right. They were in Ronnie Scott's club.
Yeah, that's it. Ronnie Scott's. That's it. Yeah.
Right, typical BBC, saving a bit of money, recording the postcards and the interval act together. I'm going to pass you over to Tom, who's going to guide us through the next section, which is starting with Norway and Germany.
Can I just make a comment before you start? I've been going around all day singing, I want to send a pelican to my... I don't know why, but
obviously lockdown is having an effect on you, Sean. Obviously. But I'll tell you what, let's start off with Norway, guys. Joe, what did you make of the Norwegian entry? Aside from the fact that she's an underage illegal drinker.
Yeah, do I look like an underage illegal drinker? No. No, I just absolutely love her. I mean, what you've got to understand about Anita Sporgan is the fact that started a 6 out of 7 year reign, so to speak, of either her or her future husband, because they got married in the mid-80s, Jan Tegan, as in Mr. Neil Pratt Jan Tegan, actually taking part for Norway. She was there in 77, obviously, and then again in 79. He obviously competed in 1978 and got Neil Pratt with a Mille to Mille. Then they had a year off, and then she was back as a backing singer in 1981, and Jan Tegan's backing singer in 83, and the two of them together did Adieu as a duet in 1982. So this is someone who loves Eurovision, loved Melody Grand Prix, and was they were seen as the king and queen of I think of Norway at the time, because they were so popular. Yeah, they were very, very popular.
All they had to do was score some points.
Well, do you know what she did? Just not that many. He certainly didn't. It's absolutely
Now, absolutely fantastic on Norway. I have to say, though, and I'm so sorry, Joe, but the song that actually has motivated the chat room, motivated them to talk. We've got John Boy, German 3 Degrees. Stuart loved Germany, was robbed as a great result. All we have for Norway, Joe, I have to say, I'm sorry, is Campbell. I have sexy brown boots and keychains written down for Norway. What's not to love? Love it, Campbell. Absolutely brilliant.
Everything but my brown boots today.
Let's move on to Germany, though. Donna and Ian, what did we make of it?
Hello. I loved that song. I really did. It was so catchy. The staging was great. Yeah, I wasn't singing Pelican all day though, Sean. But it's definitely one that pops back into your head. And of course, I loved the outfit. This is the best I could manage.
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing.
It's a great fun song. And yeah, also possibly the strangest instrument ever seen at Eurovision.
Oh, the telegram.
The Morse key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
And on the revolve as well.
Yeah.
So it was nice and easy to set, and
Yeah.
it got its own starring moment. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
And they were quite a big group as well, weren't they? They were
Yeah.
huge disco artists as well. And the composer and lyricist went on to work with Donna Summer and Boney M. And so, yeah, there's a lot of caliber behind them as well. Although they did change in and out. I only stayed in for like a couple of years and then I left. But you can't compete with the Americans. What can I say?
Now, guys, as fantastic as Germany was, we need to move on. We also, I suppose, I'm not quite sure what's gone on here. I'm sorry. We're gonna just take Steve. Ronnie, what have you done to yourself? What have you done?
Well, I'm ready for my performance when song number 9 comes along.
Oh, seems a bit rock bottom to me.
Hey, listen, though, before we move on from Germany, we've got a little treat. We've got 3 of the bigger hits from Silver Convention. And I missed one out, didn't I? What was their actual biggest hit?
Oh, gosh. I haven't actually.
So it was Get Up and Boogie, wasn't it?
It was Get Up and Boogie, I think.
I thought it was Get Up and Boogie. Yeah.
Okay.
They actually reworked that in a mix later on into the Snuggie advert in America.
Oh, really?
Yes. And also the Bloodhound Gang actually sampled the songs as well.
Lynsey Paul's looking rough tonight. Well,
I do like the comment from Neil though, Andy. Everyone's singing in their native language apart from Germany and Belgium.
This is very true. They changed the rule far too late in the season, and Germany and Belgium were halfway through their selection procedures, so they were allowed to sing in English. Much good it did them.
Wow. Yes. Can I say?
And just to add, Andy, there's another comment from Stuart.
What can you say? What can you say other than Martin? And another welcome to Retrovision. I hope it won't be your only appearance here. I really like the song you're going to talk about, but I don't know whether you did or not. Let's listen to the next 2 songs: the song from Luxembourg and the song from Portugal. So, Martin, take it away.
Yeah, Luxembourg one. It's strangely like this one. It's Marie B or Marie Besset, who, if you look at Wikipedia, she's in red, so she doesn't have anything about her at all. So poor woman. Frère Jacques. Apparently, it's a nursery rhyme, and it's now a disco. It refers to this nursery rhyme disco version. I must admit, the backing singers are better than her, to be quite honest. And I think Serbia delegation in 2007 thought, beauty queens, let's see how we're going to stage them this year. I know, we had that Luxembourg song from '77 with all the curls. But yeah, it's sort of sung spoken, and I do like it, but it didn't do that well. What did it only got 16th place, wasn't it? It didn't get very many points in the end. So
yeah, and that's
a shame for Luxembourg.
Pointed out. The lyrics were quite racy. I'm not quite sure who Frère Jacques, Leonard. We're not quite sure who Frère Jacques was, but I'm rather hoping he was just a brother rather than a priest brother. Portugal. What did we think of Portugal? Non Coração. I love it. I love a song that's got the country name in its title.
That's the only bit you can really understand, unless you actually know Portuguese. That's it. And which song do you want to pick? Because it seems like there's two at the same time. We've got one which is the funky disco track, and then we've got the ballad with the Spanish guitar all mashed in together.
Yeah, so it's sort of this kind of gentle folk, and it's very traditional, and then suddenly there's a beat and this sort of weird disco guitar from nowhere, with the guy just gently on his acoustic whistle. Very odd.
Yeah.
But it's a nice wee song. It's and Portugal had not long come through its political revolution, so it's an interesting way of looking back and also looking to the future and the kind of hope for their country. It's quite a nice wee song. A bit dull, however.
I believe Ari, the lyricist, was known to be a revolutionary poet or something. I think he'd written for the previous songs of 69, 71 and 73, I think. So there's still the revolutionary theme coming through.
Can I ask you two a question? Sorry, I'm just going to jump in. Right. Does anyone else think that maybe the Dolmio adverts of the 1990s were based on the costumes of the Portuguese act of 1977?
I can see where you're coming from. Definitely.
Yeah.
The whole family and the whole lineup, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to see that the same way again, though. So.
It was just a comment worth making, I thought.
Well, it was certainly better than their placing, which was only 14. So
I feel that we're robbed, but for me, it was a very strong year, and there were lots of songs that I could have put higher. So, what can you say? We're moving on to a song that did do rather better. I have to say, I wrote it myself. Little number called What Bottom?
Harmony, you said it, where are we? Rock bottom, rub it out and start it again. Where are we? Rock bottom, samba, samba, no si, mi, mi, no si, no si, 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 no, no, no si, samba, samba,
Okay, turning up the volume again, and we're over to Sean. What did you think of Rock Bottom?
Oh, I love a bit of cock bottom. Rock bottom. Sorry. That's the vodka talking. I do apologise. It was good. It was a good entry. As far as UK entries go, it was a good entry. It wasn't our best. Second place, did it deserve it? Yeah, probably. Just... it was a big hit in Switzerland. It was number one, but only reached number 9. Yeah, only reached Switzerland. Yeah. only reached number 19 in the UK charts. It kind of summed the whole year up in a way, didn't it? Because, as we know, Eurovision 1977, as it was, nearly didn't happen because it was cancelled and then it was rearranged sort of 5 weeks later. So, yeah, it's a song about when you're in a bad situation that you should try and solve your problems and not be pessimistic about the tragedies and stuff. So, yeah, it's a good song. I quite enjoyed it. I suppose it's a UK Eurovision classic. And you looked stunning, Andy.
I do my best.
Oh. It did reflect the situation at the time. I think more of our songs should probably do that because we'd had to go cap in hand to the IMF about 4 months beforehand as a country because we were bankrupt.
And it's amazing that we managed to stage such a good and obviously expensively produced competition in the circumstances. Steve, tell us what you thought about Rock Bottom. Was it one of your favourites at the time?
It wasn't actually, but I thought it was performed pretty well on the night. It's a typical Lynsey DePaul song. Her songs always sound as though they've been written for commercials or programs, every single one of them. And I thought it was a good effort. I wasn't a big fan at the time, but I think it's lasted reasonably well. And the staging was good, I think, with the whole kind of, with yourself, Ronnie Hazelhurst.
It does sound like the opening of a sitcom, doesn't it? Like it sounds exactly like the theme tune from it.
And the whole thing was one big gimmick. from Ronnie Hazelhurst conducting with his furled umbrella to the Financial Times.
But that's nice to have a story.
Yeah,
it's nice to have something to follow, like a little 3 minutes of an adventure. It's fun.
It is. It looked like the UK was going to win until well over halfway through the scoring. Then quite a big lead. So it was probably quite disappointing. And Lynsey DePaul did say she didn't mind the fact that she hadn't won, if only it hadn't been that she'd won for that dirge that won from France. It was a little ungallant of her. One of the songs that she liked, and indeed was my favourite going into the contest, was Mathema Solfège. Gemma, Disco Fantastic. Did you like the Greek?
I don't get it. Why does everyone like this song so much? I really don't understand. How did it come? It came like 5th, I think. How? I don't get it. I really don't. Like when you listen to when you read, translate the lyrics, like I'm not that musical. Like it could actually be as bad as Spain's La 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 or whatever it was. Like I don't get it. Like that nothing happened. They had weird dance moves that, everyone else was doing as well. Like there was nothing stand out about it. I don't get it.
Is anybody going to shine a light for the Greek entry?
I loved it.
It was
my favourite.
I thought it had bounce and bigger. You could traditional kind of themes running through, but with that whole kind of disco vibe. Loved it.
I love the amount of disco
vibe. Everyone keeps saying that. There was disco ones.
I love the amount of disco tracks in this year's competition, and I love the fact that everyone tried to replicate the success of Brotherhood of Man the previous year by doing silly dance routines, if you want to call them silly. Austria did it, Germany did it, Greece did it, Belgium did it, and to be honest, Spain and Luxembourg's backing singers did it as well to some extent, didn't they? And I love it, absolutely love it. But we always know if you replicate what happened the previous year, you usually don't win.
Yeah, exactly. However, listen. This is the highest placing Greek song, sung entirely in Greek, ever.
Oh, wow.
And it was the highest placed Greek song of any type up until 2001. So, it did a good job.
This is what I don't understand.
You don't understand. We're going to tie you down to a chair and make you watch it again.
Put it on now. Go on.
For 24 hours. You can watch, that's what you can see.
Okay, so let's go from the ridiculous to the sublime. Ilanit for Israel.
Ja, sie ist meines Miss Lady und ich ein Mann aus den Bergen. Und wer sie einmal gehört hat, weiß nur ein Alphorn klingt so schön.
And then back to the ridiculous. Steve.
I love the Israeli song. It was one of my favourites, and I think she's got a beautiful voice. She's a beautiful lady, and I thought it was better than her song from 1973. And of course, there's a rumour that she was selected to represent Israel in 1984 with Balalaika. I mean, nobody quite knows whether that is the case or not, because I don't think they ever thought they were going to enter at the end of the day anyway. But I think it's a really, really good song. One of the best ballads.
And where did it come? I'm losing mine 11. So it did reasonably well for something that wasn't perhaps the most accessible song going.
We had one of the worst titles, probably.
Sorry, Gemma?
No, I was just going to say, with my my fresh young eyes, when you watch Israel, she is like, take out everything else, you just have a clip of her. Could be from now. Yep. Like, she looks like she could have just come out right now with what she's wearing, like even what she's singing a little bit. It feels, dare I say it, a little bit modern for its time. And she seems to be the only one who figured out how to smooth her hair down, you know?
Oh, she had fabulous hair, didn't she? Fabulous. Fabulous. So, I'm going to have to take this up in a second. Switzerland. Switzerland, Pepe Lienhard band, Swiss Lady. Let's go to our Swiss gentleman. Sure.
Oh, I know. Hang on. I couldn't find a little penny. It's actually recorded, but never mind. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, don't you love a guy with a big horn? What's not to like about that? Swiss Lady, the Pepe Lienhard band, performed in German, and apparently it's the only Swiss entry to reach #1 on the official Swiss music charts until last year. Luca Hani, she got me. That went to #1 as well in the Swiss charts. But yeah, it's a great song. It's the performance is off its head. I thought with all the the big horn and the flute playing and the fancy costumes, looking like ice cream sellers. It's a great song. I loved it. It's about a guy in the mountains who he plays this alp horn, and he considers this instrument his Swiss lady. So whatever they got up to in that little alpine shack, I have no idea. The band had a bit of success after Eurovision, and they went on to release a few albums as well. It's a good song. It's a good song. It finished 6th, and I think that's probably about right. 6th place.
This is typical of the sort of song that Switzerland was entering. They had Mrs. Caroline Robinson, and then they had another one where there were all sorts of made-up instruments on stage. Martin, is this your type of feel-good song? Do you like it?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was bright. It was novel. They're all coordinated. Yeah, it was okay. Obviously I like more songs, better songs in this, but as a something for Eurovision, it was different for the 1977 anyway. So it was a good song at this point in the contest anyway.
Lynsey de Paul is going to make her exit from the hosting of
Andy,
shenanigans.
You got more costume changes than Lady Gaga. What are you playing at?
Well, I'm playing at being absolutely boiling hot, to be perfectly honest.
He insists on the costume changes.
And when I say boiling hot, I don't mean in a sexual way.
We know that.
So I'm going to hand you back again to Tom, who's going to go through, starting with Sweden, who had taken a break in 1976 and came back with Beatles.
Triste corazón, mi necesito amar. Enséñame a cantar, enséñame a cantar.
And as if by magic, the panel changes before my eyes as well. 2 fantastic tracks there. But Martin, let's kick us off by looking at Sweden.
Yes, you know how we said that Sweden won in 1976. They shouldn't really been in 1977 either, because it wasn't that brilliant. It was a song dedicated to an homage to the Beatles. There's even Yeah, Yeah, Yeah in there from She Loves You. And the audience liked it, because obviously it's the UK, but only West Germany gave us 2 points. So, the music was all right, but the song was quite downbeat, the singing, so... it's nice outfits, bit of tinfoil, silver trumpets, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and it is one of Sweden's worst ever performances, worst results, because they're bottom of the table. It's
got a certain je ne sais quoi, shall we say, about it. More visually than for those that listen to actual music. Donna and Ian, I saw you making some things about that.
Oh man, it's not good, is it? It definitely deserved its last place, I've got to admit. Sweden have done much better, and this was not a good year for them at all.
That was a definite should have stayed at home.
Yeah.
Now, one I thought that had a bit more promise, was the Spanish entry. Joe, just kick us off with the Spanish entry, and then we'll go back. I heard Donna just kind of go, so we'll go Joe, and then we'll go Donna.
Yeah, you've got to admit it's not quite as good as the other Mickey that represented Spain many years later. But yeah, I have to admit, I don't know, it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure, isn't it? Listening to Spain in '77. You had to have it. We all had a little jig as we listened to the clip. It was always going to be an also ran, wasn't it, in this sort of field? And it certainly wasn't the best ever entry, but they got a few points, didn't they? And to be honest, he was a jolly chap, wasn't he? Jolly chap.
I thought he was fabulous.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
I mean, Donna, come on, surely.
He totally owned that stage. I loved his performance. It was great. So I could totally go along with the little dad dance he got going on, and then an occasional little camp moment. And let's go to the pretty lady with the banjo. Yeah, give it one. And it was just what's not to love. And Solby clearly got the hand clap from him. Definitely.
Absolutely fabulous. Right, guys, I think we'll just move it on ever so slightly, and I've got a funny feeling that I'm already looking in the green room. Do you know what? We'll play the clips and we'll see what happens when we return.
Wow.
Didn't your teacher ever say, not to wear shades indoors and things?
Well, I'm sorry, but Mr. Moran did. I can't see a thing. Cannot see a thing. Mia Martini. Who recognised Mia Martini? I mean, everybody remembers her from 1992. But a young woman, completely different voice. Donna and Ian.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was, well, let's think. It was 92 when she was actually in it, in the time we've just previously watched. So she was quite a lot younger, in her prime, and certainly still in favour in her career at that point. So her voice is so different, though, isn't it? It's like it hasn't developed that full maturity at that point. So, to be honest, I prefer the 92 performance. She doesn't sound fully committed to this one, unfortunately for me. It's a lovely song. It should be in a musical like Hair, really. Not just for the fact that it's called Free, but just the sound as well really works with that kind of musical. But she just doesn't sell it for me, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm. And I had a comment here from Josip Pascal that saying that the quality of the Italian songs was rarely understood by the rest of Europe. And I have to say, I agree with that. And they have only had a couple of wins in the whole history of the competition. And I don't think this was ever going to be a winner. But it was a very solid entry by Mia Martini. Yeah. Steve, are you a fan of Mia?
I love Mia Martini, and I like this song as well, to be honest, but not as good as the 92 song.
Oh, Rhapsody was brilliant.
You can see how she matured as a singer, her voice changed, and also how Rhapsody much suited her much better as a performer. This song doesn't quite feel like it sits with her right, doesn't quite sit with her voice. It probably would have been better with a different singer, or her better with a different song.
She's by far the best vocalist, I think, in the whole competition now.
It's the voice that's tinged by gin and fags, really, isn't it?
Well, that's it, yeah. She's not gone down that yet.
Now, somebody who had a little bit of a problem with her voice on the night was Monica Aspeland. And I'm going to ask Steve of Finland to talk about it. But first of all, Tom of Finland.
Hey! Do you know what? When you first said to me, can you, review Laponia, I thought you said Cabonia, and I brought my cough medicine down. Oh, jeez. Anyway, fortunately, I realised before. Come on, this fantastic and totally and utterly underrated, and it's pleased to see it's more popular now. Although I think it's more to do with cough medicine adverts, because that's exactly what it sounds like to me. It was released in 20 countries. And hit number 20 in Sweden. It got released in Australia, Brazil, Israel, Turkey. I mean, come on, what's not to like about this?
Hey, it
You'd
was
be
released
singing
in the
it all
United
night.
Kingdom because I bought the single.
Hey,
And it
was
has
before my
version
time,
on-
darling. I
Of
wasn't
course,
born by then.
Of course. It has the English version on the B side, which was generally what they did in those days. So, Steve, you've got Finished Blood in you.
I have. I'm quarter finished myself, and I have. This is a guilty pleasure for me. It's the sort of song to call the reindeer home, really, isn't it? You can see them up in the finished flashbacks getting the reindeer home with this song. There is that unfortunate note where she screeched a bit towards the end, and I think that kind of ruined it. But I think it's a really good song, and I believe the Dutch version was used in an advert in Holland at some stage as well. So.
For cough medicine.
Leave that of Lynsey de Paul's book, writing songs that suitable for adverts and programs. But I think I like the song, but it's very Finnish.
Would anybody like to give us a quick go at the high notes? I thought not.
Martin will have a go.
No. I can tell you that this was the ESC Top 250 we do every new year, and Lorraine's won from 2012. This was the first winner, about 4 years beforehand.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know how, because obviously it was the whole of Eurovision up to 2008 to choose from, but yeah, there you go. Maybe it's just Finland voting that year, not sure. But yeah.
Thank you once again to all our lovely friends in the chat room. You can see some of the comments online here. But I'm going to get a P45 at the end of this. Tom, get me out of the hole. Tell us how we follow ESC Fan TV.
Dead simple. Even technophobes like yourself who smurf the net, Andy could do it. All you have to do is you visit Facebook, you find the ESC Fan TV page in the search bar, and you click to follow us. Then you go across to YouTube, and you click just down there if you're viewing us on YouTube, just down there. You click the like button, you click the subscribe button, and you click the little bell as well. And then when we go live, you will get notified and you'll be able to tune in instantaneously. You can also find us on Instagram as well. And don't forget Twitter, where we regularly tweet things, or twit things, as some people say.
Okay, we're moving on now to the last two songs. We've got lots to talk about after the songs, but now we've got the pre-contest favourite and the winner. So, Joe, there was a little bit of a controversy about the outfits that these young ladies were wearing. Tell us about that.
Were they a little bit sort of transparent by any chance? I mean, did you not notice as well that there was a camera angle on it at one point where they were concerned about crotches of the women rather than actually seeing their faces or paying attention to singing? I mean, seriously. But at the end of the day, though, that song was just effectively competing with Pentagram for that sort of genre of vote, I think, which is probably where neither of them won when they should have.
And Gemma, what did you think of this?
That poor guy. that poor guy that they threw on stage with them that just couldn't do the dance moves as well as them. You know, was never in focus.
Yeah, it's like a pound shop Boney M, really.
It's the other way. Bobby was the star dancer in Boney M. He couldn't dance in this one.
But did you like the song itself?
Yeah, it was all right. It was, you know, again, I like my upbeat songs, and I was into this one. But yeah, no, I just kept looking at the guy. That's all I could see. I was like, what? Like, I couldn't hear him. I don't know if he was actually meant to really be there. You know, might have just been better if they threw them.
Or was going out with one of the girls.
Yeah, true.
Sean, did you notice a bit of ethnic sound to the Japanese or in the
you know what? I absolutely. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice that.
You didn't.
No. I absolutely loved this song, though. Oh, I loved it. It was an absolute joy. It was my favourite of this year, and I wish it had won. I love the song. I love the hair. I love the outfits. I love the dance routine. I had a big grin on my face all the way through it. And believe it or not, actually, I've not actually watched the whole 1977 Eurovision Song Contest up until this week in full. I've watched little clips and I've watched some of the songs before now. But this song, I thought it was brilliant. I think it was the first time that they hadn't performed at least part of their entry in French or Belgium. French or Dutch. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah.
So they just snuck in under the wire with an English language entry.
Yeah, it was great. It's about pleading the president of the company for a job and about how they needed the money and what they're going to do with the money, that they're going to have yachts, they're going to go to Monte Carlo.
Because everyone needs 1 or 2 or 3 million.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
I didn't honestly think that it meant anything.
If you're going to give me 1, I'll have 3, thanks.
But brilliant song, loved it. Yeah,
brilliant song, and that it was very similar to the German song. Lots of disco-inspired numbers, lots of up-tempo numbers. A lot of people thought they were going to win, and nobody thought France was. Well, nobody, apart from Marie Myriam and the French delegation. Martin, I think you've got a soft spot for this song.
Yeah, I could say that. Let's see, we've got 13 minutes left. Can I talk for 13 minutes about this song?
No!
Seeing it's my favourite. To anybody else, this is my favourite ever Eurovision entry. So therefore, if you don't like it, so basically, this is the song that gets me every time. When I knew that we're doing 1977, that's why I'm here. That's why I did the watch party. I've seen it loads of times before. She's amazing. It's a great song. She's perfect vocally. Great backing singers as well. They've got two of the male backing singers were on Anne-Marie David's Tout Reconnaître in 1973. So they knew what they were doing. And I think it just came out of nowhere. I think Marie was about 5th favourite, if that. So nobody was expecting it. And in the days of having only 18 songs in the final, I think it didn't really matter that she was at the end. And I think she just came along and probably all the juries thought, well, that's better than everybody else. And that's why she got all the marks. Although she only got 3 12s, I think UK got 6, Ireland got 4. She just happened to get consistent points. She got a minimum of 3. Everybody voted for her.
Martin, why do you like it so much?
Because it's I have songs that whenever I hear them, get goosebumps, hold my breath, and this is one of them. And it's just been my favourite forever. And I don't think there's anything that's ever going to come along that's going to take that place. So yeah,
it couldn't have been more different from the 1976 entry that we talked about quite recently, which was Un, deux, trois, da, da, da. Both songs were written by the same person, Jean-Paul Carrat. You know,
he did a better job this time.
Well, he did a better job, but you know, what versatility for a songwriter to be able to go from the one to the other. Who else would like to say something about the winning song from the year?
Do you know what, Andy? The thing I find fascinating is the fact that if you put this song into Google to pull up the lyrics, if you want to sing along or marry, as I may have wanted to do during the reprise during during the watch party on Wednesday night. In actual fact, it doesn't come up with Marie Myriam's version anymore. It comes up automatically with Kids United New Generation, who released a series of charity singles to support UNICEF, who released a version of this in 2006.
Really?
Which I think shows the longevity of the song, and also the fact that, you know, it also was reintroduced into the French charts so many more years later as well.
And I think it's a beautiful song. It's a bit like a hymn, and written to be like a hymn, so that it's instantly memorable. It's got the same tune, just repeats over and over again, and then you get a descant on top. At the end of the song, you know it, and you feel that you've known it forever, and that's the mark of a good Eurovision song for me.
I believe she bought her own dress, didn't she?
Yeah, the French TV company didn't really get behind the song at all. And she presumably she couldn't afford a pink one.
Oh, bless. I've got another note here. It says wobbly tit. Oh no, wobbly titles at start.
Oh yes, at the start of this song, yes. Every time you see a clip of the winning song, the titles are going like this. That was a shame, really, because other than that, the production was really quite good. Which is more than you could be said for the presenter, Angela Rippon. I mean, we had a watch party on Wednesday, and my goodness, she is arch. I'm going to take my glasses off. Her eyebrows have got more arches than the McDonald's arches. Let's just have a little clip of Angela's antics.
I'm sorry, there's been a misunderstanding there. France should read 14 points, please.
France, I'm afraid you've only got 14.
Well, we think that Holland has 6 points up till now and not 5 points.
You've given our jurors a problem here.
Yeah, we are counting here.
You're counting, so are they.
I'm sorry, we have still a mistake on the scoreboard for Netherlands. It should be 7.
Oh, yes, they must have all the points they can get. 7, yes.
Oh, bless her.
They must have all the points they can get.
She was put in an absolutely impossible situation. She had to say something. And I mean, what can you do in those situations? There's technical errors with the scoreboard. You know, I think she did brilliantly throughout.
Most amusing.
Yeah, I thought she did all right.
Yeah.
I thought there was a good tradition there of, you know, UK presenters being left on stage looking like lemons, whilst the winning artist tries to make their way forward.
Yeah, the thing is with Angela as well, she actually had to learn French. So, you know, like she kept getting the French mixed up sometimes and not pronouncing it right. It was because it's actually a new language to her. She learned it for the actual job, so to speak. So when it all went tits up, she was a bit lost for words. Yeah, I mean, you would be with a new language, but if you listen to some of the pronunciations, she does get them wrong, and I think sometimes it's why she thought that they were saying different points to what they were, was because it was a new language to her.
So a bit like
one of the funny bits is effectively when she keeps getting the French wrong and it's a French language jury, they then really shout to her in English so she gets it right, because they just know that she's not going to understand French.
Talking of shouting, there is a famous clip on YouTube of the producer Stuart Morris, who was renowned for having a potty mouth, and somebody recorded him as he was sitting in his production room. Ian, who works in the industry, is going to tell us a little bit more about it. Here we go with the clip. No, we don't. Yes, we do. It's all good.
No, but I mean, geez, bloody organisation. You stop this, Cal. VT, I've cut your talk back. I know. Can you hear me? I'm sure you can. You've got it. I cut it to shut the bloody idiots in Network 1. Can you ring Network 1 and tell that cow to shut up?
Like Gordon Ramsay.
So I thought that was a spoof, but I understand that. No, it is actually spot on what happened. Is that what it's like, Ian, in your industry?
I don't work directly in television. I work in live events, but there's a lot of similarities. To say it is definitely worth looking at this clip and listening to the full thing from start to finish, because it goes up and down, and he has a pretty close to complete meltdown at one point, pretty much just shouting incoherent words into his comms. And at that point, it's not a surprise it all goes a bit tits up. But this is a live broadcast like this is really one of the highest pressure jobs you can do, and everything focuses back on the producer.
Mm-hmm.
At the start, the wee clip there, it's at the start, and he's got voices coming in that he shouldn't be hearing. He can't hear what's going out. At that point, he thinks he's in real trouble, because if that continues, the show's fucked. It's not going to happen any kind of coherence at all. Later on in the wee clip, it cuts towards the end, when the wheels do come off completely. But again, at that point, he's just gone through all the stress of trying to deal with the voting, which has gone completely horribly wrong. And now they're at the bit of the show where it's everything up to there he's managed to script and plan. And now they've got a bit at the end, which has not been planned or scripted properly because they don't know what's going to happen. And it just gets a little bit wrong. But yeah.
But we like it when it goes wrong at Eurovision, don't we, really? Yeah. We do want it to go. You know, Italy in 1991 was hilarious for all the wrong reasons. But the production overall, Sean, I think you wanted to say something about this. You were quite impressed with it, weren't you?
Yeah.
You
do notice
Sorry, let you finish.
In Italy, it went wrong live on screen. If you watch the broadcast output of the BBC, unless you know that the titles were meant to scroll across, you think it's fine. It's the analogy of the swan. Everything on the surface is calm and smooth. What's underneath is very much not. And you actually notice if you watch the end of the clip, right to the end, as soon as it's finished, he comes right back down, and they start to talk about why it went wrong. After literally seconds after his big meltdown, it's just the heat of the moment. But yeah, I'll let you get some of the language he used. You would not get away with anymore.
If you've not seen it, everybody take a watch.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's amazing. Yeah, look it up on YouTube.
Enormous. But yeah, the language is not suitable for work, so caution.
No. So the production itself, did we think it was ahead of its time, of its time?
I thought the set was amazing for 1977. I mean, you know, if you could take that set now and use it if you just shoved a big LED screen at the back. I mean, it was brilliant. The revolve, I love the way that the orchestra was set out, and fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
And the rotating flags at the end were lovely.
The rotating flags at the end were a really nice touch. Loved it. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
It must have been really big, that revolve, because you've got a full orchestra sitting inside of it as well.
Ooh.
And it's not something that's ever really made notice of. You know, it's just there. It has a nice wee change while we get to look at the gorgeous outfits of the man in Roby. And and it's just nice and smooth. We can load things onto it, off of it, and it's lovely.
Yeah,
brilliant.
You see, when Germany is on, all the instruments are back actually on the revolve, so they can be spun on and off very easily. Makes for very slick changes. Obviously, you don't see it happen because it's out of shot, but it just makes everything run smoothly. It looks slick. You know, it's very.
The lighting.
Well, it would have done. It would have done. It would have done if we had the bloody postcards.
Yes, actually,
that's
it would have looked like a
Have you got your program, man in Roby?
Yeah. It would have looked like a very modern contest. You're right, Sean. If it had the postcards in.
Yeah, that's the only thing in the production that let it down. Yeah.
We're drawing towards the end of the evening, but before we do, I thought it'd be nice to listen to 3 of Lynsey de Paul's biggest hits. Here we go.
Oh.
In a teacup, brew it up double, all those tiny little troubles. Won't somebody dance with me? Start up a romance with me.
So that final song was a big hit in America on the country chart. I Won't Somebody Dance With Me, a beautiful song in my opinion. And Rock Bottom was so completely different to it. Steve, were you a fan of Lynsey DePaul at the time?
I was much too young to be a fan of Lynsey DePaul.
Would you have been in other circumstances?
I would have been. Not really. I really like "Won't Somebody Dance With Me" because it's quite a sad song. It's quite a sad song.
Mm-hmm.
But I found her that she just generally did the same stuff time and time again. Generally,
good job. Rock Bottom was a bit different then. So on Wednesday, these fan evenings of watching Sunday's show so that everybody can join in have been very, very successful, popular. Thank you to everybody who's joined in and watched with us.
Thank you.
Everybody has been voting in their thousands. And we've got a little table to show you the public vote for the 1977 Eurovision Song Contest.
I'm sorry, there's been a misunderstanding.
But that's not it.
Come on.
Journée de vie où l'ombre se lève pour réveiller la ville aux yeux lourds, où les matins effeuillent les rêves pour nous donner un monde d'amour, l'amour.
So Marie Myriam, massive winner with the fans. Was that a surprise that all these years later, she's still everybody's favourite?
Surprise to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really to me. I thought because she's popular. She's still popular. You know, that is a really good song. You have to admit. So.
Yeah. We're coming to the end of our evening, but before we do, there's a new show on Friday, and Tom's going to tell us about that. And then we've got details of where we're going to for the watch party on Wednesday and for Sunday's show. Tom.
Well, I'll tell you what, should we get the year reveal out of the way first of all?
Yeah, go. Do it.
Everyone wants to know what year we're looking at next week on Wednesday. What will the watch party be? We are going back to 1996. Oh, just a little bit.
A little bit more.
The year that Gina G did not win. And then on...
Oh, no. She didn't take a week off now.
And then on Friday night, join us because we are going to be looking at the best ever entries of the Netherlands as part of our best of series. And we may even be asking some people to vote on their best ever Netherlands entries across this week as well, which is an even bigger reason, people, if you haven't done so already, to click the like and subscribe button on YouTube, to click the like button on Facebook, to click the subscribe button on Twitter, and make sure that you are following everything that's going on ESC Fan TV as we head towards, I think we're still going to call it Eurovision Fortnight. It feels very, very, very strange not to say that. I think it is Eurovision Fortnight.
There's going to be more for us to watch than there ever would have been if Eurovision had been taking place.
Ah, yes.
And we have something very special, but a surprise, for the final Retrovision of the series, which is the Sunday evening after Eurovision. Everybody will be fast asleep because on the day of Eurovision, Gemma, do you know what's going on down in Australia?
On the day of Eurovision?
Yeah. Your TV company has got about 6 hours or 7 hours of constant programming for the whole
week.
Yeah, on the day of Eurovision? Yeah.
Week. Oh my God, it is ridiculous. But anyway, credit SBS. Well done. Thank you.
We'll all be watching it on the internet. Yeah. Then trying to grab an hour's sleep before it all kicks off in Europe. and it'll just keep
Yeah,
going.
see, I don't think we're getting it live either. Unless we are. Unless I don't know. But I think it's delayed into Australia. But anyway.
But you've got your own programming on live on
Yeah, but I don't.
on the Saturday
I want to
night.
watch it live with you guys.
You can via YouTube.
You guys are the ones who make it. And I don't like watching it by myself.
No, we enjoyed watching the Australian final at 11 o'clock in the morning one Saturday in February.
Oh, it was earlier than that.
That's
It was
a
half
lot-
past 9.
No, yeah, it was 9,
like-
wasn't it?
That's a normal time though, guys. Like 9 p.m. European time is like 5 a.m. And like if you're on the West Coast, it's like 2 or 3, I don't know. Like painful hours. Painful.
Oh, do I hear a tiny little
It's okay,
violin there? No.
Yeah, and yet every second
listen.
week I get up at 3:30, you know, do hair and makeup for this show. Ugh.
Indeed. Guys, thank you all very, very much. Thank you to Tom. Thank you to Joe, Sean, Gemma, Martin.
Bye, Will.
Man in Rome B.
That's a cop out, that Ian. Come
Donna. Steve.
What a
It has
cop
been
out.
fantastic. Thank you to everybody in the chat room. It's been a wonderful evening. We'll be back on Friday. We're going to be looking at the best entries from the Netherlands. But for now, I think that's all we've got time for. Thank you all very, very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 No, but I mean, geez, bloody organisation. Stop this, cow. See, I've cut your thought back. I know. Can you hear me? Sure you. You got it. I cut it to shut the bloody idiots in Network 1. Can you ring Network 1 and tell that cow to shut up?
Fuck's sake, can you believe that? Jesus fucking Christ. What was all that about? Fucking hell.
No idea. Could have done without, you know,
Fuck.
people trying to
Yeah.
play the things at
What
once.
was going on?
What an
What
absolute
was going on?
bloody joke.
It's not.
I mean,
Absolutely
yeah.
pathetic.
You were
Hey,
supposed to be the
what the
producer. I can't
Surely,
let you
yeah, let's
rely
put
on
it
you.
right, guys. Come
It's
on.
not my
Can't you
fault.
just
You tried
press
to
the
take
right
over halfway
fucking
through.
buttons?
It's not
No.
Barbarian and
You
Pathetic.
can't change your wig in 2
pathetic.
seconds.
Just be ashamed of
Where's,
yourself.
anyway, where's
Well, you
Steve?
can.
Just get out!
Hang on,
Get out!
it's still on.
Oh, it's still
Oh,
Get
on.
out!
crikey, hang on. Sorry, I'll end it. I'll end it.
Ridiculous.
Amateurs.
Amateurs.